Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pieces Podcast. My name is Adejoke Azan, and today we are going to be looking at Black Sheep. With me on the studio is Wusu Deborah, popularly known as Onveli Devi. Welcome to the studio, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me. It's indeed a pleasure.
So, looking at the terms Black Sheep, what definition can you give to Black Sheep?
Okay, when we say black sheep, just as the name signify, it's like sheep, they are usually white, and then you have a black in the midst of white sheep. So obviously it's different. So when someone is being tagged black sheep, that means someone is being different from a group of people, from probably in a family setting, in a work setting or friendship setting, someone feeling like an outcast, not being accepted or wanted in a particular place. So that's
Okay.
what we can call black sheep.
Thank you very much for that. So,
Thank
can
you.
you give us a practical scenario of how somebody is treated like a black sheep?
So for instance, let me use the family settings.
Okay.
So for instance, you are in a family, maybe a group of 4 siblings, and then obviously everybody is smart. Like everybody comes back home with a A grade, and then you come back with C or D or F. Everybody is going to look at you like, what is something is definitely wrong with this child, what is the problem? And then they'll kind of tag the child. They may not say it verbally, but in terms of their reaction or how they react when maybe you come back home with your results, and then people begin to talk down on you, definitely that is already like creating that seed that, oh, I'm not wanted here, I'm not accepted here, whatever I'm doing does is not worth it or is not worth why. So that's another setting. So coming back to like my own personal setting now, I don't know if this scenario actually stands, but I would say, so I recently changed from a particular denomination to
Okay.
another denomination, and then my circle of friends in this previous denomination, you know, kind of saw me like, oh, like I've changed, I'm different. Yes, I'm in another space, still in the same umbrella, which is Christ. And then you see me as, oh, because I am not in this body anymore, then I'm not wanted here. They didn't act it like I'm not wanted here, but conversations being held with me was like, oh, probably I've backslided, or probably I've left the faith and all.
Because you are not acting in their own doctrine.
Exactly.
Because for every denomination, there is a
Doctrine,
doctrine.
there's a value. So now me not accepting your value or not accepting your doctrine, as you said, has made me like a black sheep. Has made me, oh, I'm a disobedient child, oh, I'm not wanted there, oh, I can't come to this space and feel accepted and feel comfort. Like now, okay, this particular denomination that I am now, it's not the way I like the way I present myself in this denomination. I will present myself in the previous. Definitely, I will not be accepted that way. So because now I've accepted who I am as a person. Okay, this way I'm comfortable in. This is my new value. Like a light has been shown to me in this part, and I feel comfortable here. And then you see me from another angle, and then you feel like, oh, I'm a where
Like you feel like, oh, because you are not actually agreeing to what
exactly
you
their
believe
stance or
and
their
your
belief,
stand, and
yes,
they feel
then like I'm a black sheep.
so.
But to me, I'm not actually, but
Okay,
to them,
so you feel that when you want to have conversations with those kind of people, do you try to take out conversations?
I
Because
tried.
are there some certain conversations you can't have with them
There are certain
based?
conversations, like there are certain gathering, even there are certain gathering I can't give myself in with this set, like with them, because definitely probably if I'm acting a certain way, they will look at me like, oh, this girl has done this girl has that, this girl has this. But because of I don't want to be painted as a black sheep, I avoid conversations. I withdraw myself, which is some of the issues that comes with when you are being tagged as a black sheep.
Okay, so I want to ask you, if somebody is in a situation whereby they feel like an outcast, do you think they should totally withdraw from that setting?
From that
You know, the reason why I'm asking is that, let's say probably I am in a church and I belong to a particular department,
okay.
and whenever you raise issues, your opinion does not really matter, and like they find a way of shutting you down, shunning you, and all of those things. Then do you think I should continually voice out, or I should keep mute?
Okay, in this scenario, voice out. But in my own scenario, it's better you withdraw, because if you are putting yourself in their faces, constantly having conversations with them, you kind of get confused in terms of your work with God. But in this kind of scenario now, you are in a setting whereby you are airing your opinion, but you are not being heard. Keep talking.
Okay.
Keep saying. One day your opinion is going to matter. One day what you're saying is going to make sense to them. Because definitely the goal is to shut you up. The goal is to make you
Feel less of yourself.
less of yourself. But you are not going to allow that, because as you are uniquely made, like you have a value inside of you, and whatsoever is in you, you need to bring it out there. Like you carry a light and you need to shine your light. Yes, people will tend to dim your light, but you need to keep shining your light. So that's what I'm going to encourage someone out there.
Okay, thank you for that. So let us look at this black sheep from another scenario.
Okay.
Okay, let's look at it from natural issues.
Okay.
Let's say I'm being born an albino, I'm being born short, I'm being born like a dwarf, and all of those things. And you get to some particular setting, people say it to your face, why are you like this? Sometimes we laugh over it. There are things that we laugh over, and people go home to actually think
Cry,
about it, cry about
yes,
it, and say,
yeah.
ah, God, why did you create me this short? God, why did you make me this tall? God, why did you make me this and that? And you begin to say, maybe probably some people are even involved in accident and they have scars, and they get to organizations, they get to places, and they are not accepted because of the scars that they carry. How do you think those people should actually position themselves in the society?
Okay, positioning yourself starts with you. So you need to know yourself, accept yourself. So for you, when you accept yourself and then you've conditioned your mind, then someone else can accept you. Not everybody is going to accept you, but somebody will definitely accept you. And I just want to say that it's not, is people's thought about you does not actually matter sometimes. You don't need to pay attention to what people say. You are made in the image and likeness of God. That I am this, that I'm albino, I'm a dwarf, does not define who I really am. I carry a virtue, I carry a purpose, and that is all that matters. That's what matters to God. It's not what somebody is saying or what
About you.
about me, but what has God said? Am I living in that light? Am I walking in alignment in that path that God has said concerning my life, that God has written concerning my life? Yes, as I said, people will tend to discourage you, because definitely you will feel down. We are humans. Like someone talking down on you, someone doing all this thing, like you will definitely, we are humans, we have emotions, we have blood flowing through our veins. Yes, you will be down and all, but you need to get your strength from God. That God, you've made me, and I know you've written something concerning my life, you've said something concerning me, and that which you said, that is going to come to pass. Position me in that path where I'll be accepted. Even though if it's one person that is going to accept me, let me be strategically positioned.
And like you said, the mind, sometimes if you can't, if you don't, the way you see yourself
That's
is
the
the
way
way others will
others will
see
see
you.
you.
So, and it is the way you define yourself that others will define you. So
Exactly.
if people are looking at you and say, why is this short, and you say, I'm short, and you are crying, they continually intimidate
You
you
in that
with that
light,
thing. And one
yes.
thing I was listening to Apostle Femi Lazarus sometime, and he was talking about weapon fashioned against you, and things that the devil knows that these things are your weaknesses, these things are things you don't even want to hear about,
And
and the
then
devil keeps
putting it to your
pushing it
face, yeah.
to your face. And
Yeah.
what it makes you now feel
Less
less
of yourself.
of yourself. It makes you feel less of yourself. So now we are going to be talking about the impact of being treated as a black sheep. What are the consequences? People that are being treated as black sheep, what are the things you see that happen to them?
Okay, you will see that they're always sad.
Mm.
They'll be isolated, because yes, they are feeling like, oh, they are not wanted, so they'll always want to crawl to their shell. They don't want to put themselves out there. So isolation, depression, anger, resentment. So these are some of the signs that these people actually display.
Okay.
And also they actually lose their place in God, because our existence is actually built in God.
Yeah.
So when you are seeing yourself less of how God has seen you and how he has created you, you're actually losing your existence. You're bringing out yourself from the hand of God, so you will lose yourself in God. You lose your place in God. Like,
Yeah, thank you for that. So, now we are going to look at the steps in which these people can use to. Okay, let me paint a family scenario. I've
okay.
seen children come out to say, "I hate my mom." Why? It is because, just like you have told us some relatable stories, it is because the way the mother sees one child better. You know
Than
that
the
sometimes
other.
that when a child is supposed to go to school and something happened, the
Yeah.
child dropped out of school and all of this. I've seen a child, I've seen a child whereby the parents sent to school and something happened along the way. The child dropped out of school. Fear could not let the child say, I dropped out of
For
school. And
school.
for some years, the child was being sent school fees, and
Mm.
the child was trying to like see
Eat it. Yeah.
if he can maybe apply again, start all over again, and
Oh.
all of those things. But along the line, the parent found out,
Mm.
and they begin to think the child is worthless and all of those things.
No child is actually worthless.
And the child is trying to like, as much as the child is trying to strive to get back up, they don't see anything good
Good that can come out
that
of
can
it.
come out of the
You
child.
know, sometimes upbringing, like parental, influence on children, actually influence this black sheep thing.
Mm.
So when a child now that is growing up is being like constantly, you are bringing the child down with your words, you are saying negative things to this child, you are already building that seed in him or
And
her.
it will
Uh,
germinate.
exactly. So you can't expect, something you have been talking bad of, and then you are expecting something good to come out from that person. So like, I just want to say, parents should actually be careful. No child is going to be the same. Nobody is going to born the same. Just as all fingers are not equal, no child is born to be the same. No, it's not everybody that is going to be brilliant. It's not everybody that will become a doctor, or everybody that will become an engineer. Everybody have their own capacity, they have their own strengths, and that's how God has made it. So embrace each child with their own strengths, and not always put their weaknesses in their face, because it will definitely affect them along the line.
So let me talk about that, putting that their weaknesses in their face. Why is it that, I have a friend whereby he tends to keep everything to himself, because he'll tell you, if my parents should hear about this, the way they are going to
Take
talk me
it.
down, like the way they are going to say it, they will not even believe in me and all of that. He just wants to strive to make sure that he gets results out of everything that he does,
Everything
even before he brings it
to
to the
their
face
face.
of people. And even at that, they still do not see anything good.
Hmm.
Do you understand? They still do not see, and they still talk the person down and say, this thing. Sometimes they make you feel like you've wasted so much time,
Time
and you are doing it. Why are you feeling like you've achieved something when people
done.
have done it, people have
Means.
gone ahead of you, and because you are achieving these little wins, and you think you have done it, and those kind of people, they don't tend to say anything good come out of
Mm.
them.
And the funny thing is that, as far the person is determined and know where he's going and know who is he in God, as I said earlier, he's going to achieve that big thing.
Exactly. I can actually relate to that story, because I myself, have actually been in a situation whereby, even like family wise, I've actually been in a situation whereby people just feel like, the way this girl is reacting, this joker, the way your life is,
Mm.
let us just leave her, let her just do her thing herself,
Mm.
and let's just see what will come out of her. And I thank God that sometimes when you don't relent, and what I did in those in when what I did when I discovered all those things was the fact that at some point I stopped giving informations
To people.
to people, especially those people that I know that they will criticize what you want to
Mm.
do. They begin to say like, there's no big deal in this thing you want to do, and they talk you out of it. Even those things are things that even they themselves,
They will benefit from.
no one they'll benefit from, and they can't even stand up to do it. She
Exactly.
understand. And I try to like go to God, talk to him, and I try to now say, okay, how do I do it? Pick it up one after the other. You see, these same people that will resent you. You know, one thing I want to say is, these same people that will resent you, when they say that you are coming back on your feet, they'll be the same people to reference you.
Exactly.
They'll be the same people to say, look at that girl. At some point of her
Exactly.
life, she was shattered
So
and all of
this,
those things.
and now they will not be taking the grace, like
They'll take
taking
the
the
glory
glory.
and they'll be like, I'm a mother. Look at my sister. Look at, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And not knowing that there were times that like I used to tell people that we do not have a high priest that cannot be touched by the feelings of our
Of
emotions. There are
infirmity.
sometimes that you really want to talk to people, and because, yes, what I actually want to say before is that sometimes this black sheep issue happens from a kind of character or a wrong thing that you have done. Probably your parents have trusted you so much, and maybe as a lady you got pregnant in your teenage age, and all of those things, and that parents trust
Broke.
broke, and they feel like, you've
That's the
disappointed me,
end.
and that's the end. No schooling again, I'm not going to send you to school again. Just take care of your life, do it the way you want to do it, and all of those things. And I have seen parents that their children got pregnant as teenagers, and they pick their children, guide that child, call the guy to tell the guy that, no, you don't have my daughter, you just gave us, like the Igbos will say, that this is like the last one of our family that we gave birth to, because it is out of wedlock. And
Yeah.
they send their child back to school,
To
and
school.
make sure the child is on their feet again. But there are some parents, even in the so-called Christian settings, that what they'll resent that child. And what I have noticed is, in the process of resentment, once you are telling that child not to do, that you are not giving them proper education about
Guidance.
it, that you are not safeguarding their heart about it, they tend to now what get wild
Exactly.
about it. And that's why you see a lot of single mothers that are promiscuous, a lot of
Yeah.
single mothers
Because
that
they
want
were
to.
not guided at the point of their mistakes, like they were abandoned.
So, and where they will find help is from these people that are sleeping with them all around, and all of those, and they feel like this place feels like home. Do you understand? They have a hotel or a brothel that accommodate them and say, bring your child, come in, and all of those things. Then you start selling yourself for money, and it feels like home to them, because that is
Yeah.
where they are
They get,
accepted.
yeah, that's it.
So there are some people that this black sheep comes to them as a result of what they have done, that
Exactly.
even they themselves, they are not proud of, right? And they're trying to, like, pick up their life from that
Again.
mistake, but people around them are not seeing the efforts that they are putting in, and they are being talked down on. This kind of people, what do you think they should do?
Okay. In this kind of situation, you need to go back to God. You are made in His image and likeness. You are not here by yourself. You are created in the image and likeness of God. Take it to God in prayer. Let Him guide you. He will bring the right people your way. The right people that will bring you, that will lead you, that will guide you back, is going to bring your way. Because our source is in God. No
Exactly.
matter the situation, no matter how you find yourself, no matter how far you have wandered, you still need to come back to the source, which is God. So go back to God.
Yeah, go
Pray
back.
about it.
And there's this thing I used to tell people, that there is hope of a tree. If it is being cut down,
Yes,
but
to grow
it
again.
can sprout again.
Yeah.
So no matter our past mistakes, our errors, that is making us feel like, many people have gone ahead of me. When people were doing this thing, I wandered away, and I have to do this thing. I've seen somebody that.
Let me add one thing to
Okay.
that too. Also, don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on that vision where you see yourself going to. Oh, because you've made a mistake, that does not mean that's the end of you. There's still something ahead of you. And for God to have kept your life, that you are alive, it means that there's still a reason, there's still a purpose. So keep going.
Even when people are bringing it to you, are
Exactly.
bringing it to your face, don't still give up on that
Exactly. Keep
vision.
going. Keep going. And God will definitely guide you. Our God, I don't know, God is just so sweet and wonderful. God, like, is so
Exactly.
compassionate and so intentional about our lives.
Yeah.
No matter how far we go, no matter what we have done, He will see, like, He will still bring you back
He
to
has a way
Himself.
of reconciling
Exactly. Like,
us back to
yeah,
him.
to Him. So the source is in God, and don't give up. Keep pressing, keep pushing. People will not accept you, and this life,
If
your
you
life
don't
is
accept yourself, people will
exactly,
definitely
people will
not
not accept
accept
you,
you.
and your life is in your hands. They say the way you lay your bed, that's the way you lie on it.
Yeah.
So it's not everybody. It's not, sometimes you'll be like, oh, my family needs to support me. You'll be like, it's not every situation that your family is going to support you.
Exactly.
Sometimes you need to go out of your way to get what you want for yourself. Because if you are waiting for the frivolity, people need to applaud me before you go for what you want,
You will
you
never
will be
get it.
there. You will
You know,
never get there.
before we wrap up, because of our time, I was going to share a scenario where I got an admission in school, and apparently I should have gotten in school for a very long time, but because of issues that happened. And when I got that admission that year, I already paid for acceptance, paid for third party, and all of those things. It was 2 weeks exam, and I was supposed to pay my school fees, and I did not have money to pay, and I just started a job. And I had to like run home to say I need this money. Nobody was able to get that money for me. I
Okay.
had to drop out of school. I forfeited that admission that year. And even till now, I don't know, maybe probably after this podcast, till now, none of my family knew I dropped that admission.
It's a lie.
They never knew. And the following year, I enrolled again. And by that
Damn.
time, I've planned myself that this is the budget, this is it, this is that. And obviously, and people were asking me, okay, you're supposed to have graduated by now. And even they were asking me, okay, you're supposed to have graduated by now, and all of those things. I
Assuming
just
you
like,
have given up that
as well
time.
I have given up. And I have somebody that is actually going through that same scenario whereby he got an admission, he's running out for money, and nobody's trying
Ready
to
to support
support
or
and all of
help.
those things. And all of those things, and I'm telling the person that this is my story. I
Mm.
have, that sometimes that even the so people you called family,
Family, they may not be
they
there
may not
at
be
all time.
there
At all time.
but I remember that even when I finished my ND and I wanted to enroll for my HND, that I had to stop work and all of those things. And I went back home. And these same people that could not even give me money to say, during your ND days and all of those things that I forfeited my addition, they were able to say, okay, don't worry, you'll be for acceptance. We know you're not working now. And what I'm trying to say is, if you don't take a step, nothing will happen.
That's the truth.
And if you begin to think, um you need some people's opinion. I
Opinion.
think the major reason why people are caged in this black sheep of a thing, because I'm this kind of person that no matter what you say about me, the reason why people are caged in this black sheep of a thing
They
is
pay
because
attention
they
to
pay
what people are
attention to what
saying.
people are saying,
Exactly.
and the people opinion matters to
To
them.
them, exactly.
So I think one thing we need to bring out from this podcast is that we need to know what God has called us,
Exactly.
our identity in
Know your
Christ.
identity in
He
God.
says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. He has created me in his image. So the face might be different. I might be dark skinned. I might
But
not.
the
But
spirit
the
in
spirit in
me, what
me
I
is the.
carry,
He
is that
says
of
I
God.
have Zoe, the God kind of
Exactly.
life. I have the
Exactly.
God kind of life. So the spirit of God that lives in me is what people would see
See,
that I
exactly.
exhibit.
Exactly.
And going forward, so I want to we are going to be wrapping up now because of our time. So what are you going to say to anybody that is actually feeling like an outcast out there? What do you have to say to them?
Okay, so one thing that I would say is that know who you are, embrace who you are, embrace your journey, know yourself in God, know your identity. Your identity is first in God, so embrace that. Don't be carried away by people's opinion. It's not everybody opinion about you that matters, but God opinion, what God have said concerning your life, that is all that matters. Are you in alignment with God? Are you right with God? So that is all that matters. It's not every time that people opinion matters. So
Yes, yes. Your walk with God, your stand with God is all that matters.
okay, let me also add. So for people that they've been resented or been or categorized as black sheep by somebody else, and then you are having resentment towards them, so I would advise you to forgive them.
Yeah.
So that is their own level of understanding. So you don't necessarily need to judge them. Forgive them. You live your life for God, and that's all that matters.
Exactly. Forgive them and you, because you find out that they are siblings that are what they are resenting each other. They
Each
see themselves
other.
as competitors because of the kind of
Exactly.
standard that their parents has laid down
Exactly. And
before them and
you
all
are
of those
just
things.
unique in your own way. So embrace your uniqueness. So that's the most important thing.
That's the most important, and embrace your uniqueness. So we have come to the end of today's podcast. Thank you for staying on the show with us. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all platforms. And if you have further opinions or question, drop it on our email and we'll do well to respond to you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.